sure you immediately recognized all of these brands, but what makes them so memorable? Today, we'll be learning all about visual identity, so if you're itching to know how to make the visual aspect of your brand unforgettable, then you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Faye, the brains behind Constant Creates. My daily grind is taking brands from ordinary to extraordinary and bringing your brand's visions to life. This video is part 2 of our series on creating an unforgettable brand, so if you missed the last video about brand strategy, go ahead and check it out after this. Designing your brand's identity isn't just about the words that define who you are, but it's also the visual cues that leave an impact on your audience. Today, I'll walk you through what a visual identity is, why it's so important, how it overlaps with brand identity, and its key components. So, what even is a visual identity? Each time you walk down a busy street and you see symbols, colors, and designs that you instantly connect with a specific brand, that's visual identity at work. Visual identity is the visual aspect of branding that's specially designed to bring out certain feelings and experiences in your target audience. Think of it as the outfit your brand wears every day. When chosen right, it makes your brand look good and stand out in a crowd. Just like you wouldn't wear a bikini to a job interview unless you'd like to be a lifeguard or something, a brand needs to pick its visuals carefully to align with its missions, values, and of course, its audience. Visual identity covers everything you see that represents a business, from the logo to the colors to the arrangement of fonts. Each element of a visual identity should complement each other. When combined, they paint a full picture of what the brand stands for, what it believes in, and how it wants to be perceived. So next time you're deciding on a color or a logo for your startup, or you're rebranding an existing business, think of the bigger picture. How do you want your audience to see you? And how can you make sure they never forget? In the visual world of branding, first impressions matter. Think about the golden arches. Doesn't your mind immediately jump to French fries as soon as you see that symbol? Visual identity is powerful because it shapes how people perceive your brand. It communicates your brand's purpose before you even say a single word. An impactful visual identity can determine whether a brand appears professional, fun, innovative, or trustworthy. In today's world where anyone can have a brand, whether that's a podcast, streaming video games, selling anime keychains, or becoming a life coach, the market is flooded with brands, each with their own unique spark, and all of them are trying their hardest to grab their audience's attention. So, how do you stand out in all this noise? Crafting a unique visual identity differentiates you. It sets you apart, and it ensures that when someone stumbles upon your brand, among all the rest, they remember you and not your competition. To solidify how your visual identity is perceived, it's important to maintain a consistent visual language. Imagine going to your favorite coffee shop, and every single time you order your favorite drink, it tastes different. Frustrating, right? The same goes for your brand's visual elements. A consistent visual identity across all platforms ensures that your audience has the same flavor of your brand, whether they interact with you on Instagram, your website, or an offline flyer. This consistency increases the chances of people remembering your brand, and it reinforces your brand's message every single time they see it. Honestly, we're creatures of habit. We tend to trust what's familiar, and we avoid what's unknown. By having a consistent and recognizable identity, you're telling your audience, hey, it's me again. And over time, this familiar face, or rather this brand imagery, makes your audience trust you. And once that trust is established, loyalty isn't far behind. It's one thing to be recognized and another thing to be relatable. Your visual identity should be designed and crafted with care and understanding of your target audience. A visual identity's value lies in its potential to connect deeply with the people that support your brand the most. Communicate that you're not just a brand, but you're a brand that gets them. It's like shopping and finding a piece of clothing that makes you think, ooh, I have to get this. This is so me. Your visual identity can bring out the same feeling in your audience. For more tips on making your brand stand out consistently, be sure to check out our blog post, Transform Your Brand, the ultimate guide to a consistent identity. The link's in the description below. Like two sides of a coin, brand strategy and visual identity are connected, but they're different. Think of your brand identity as the big picture. It includes everything your brand represents: the fundamental values, the goals, the personality, and your visuals. Your brand identity is the person. Your strategy is your personality, your vibes, your beliefs, and the visual identity is the face of your brand, your appearance. It's all the external parts of your brand that allow you to communicate visually with your audience, from your logo to your color scheme to your typography. It's all the visual cues that leave a memorable impression on your audience. Your brand strategy, on the other hand, is what helps you connect with the internal parts of your brand. It helps you make decisions that align with your goals and your values. And just like your brand strategy, your visual identity should be consistent everywhere. Whether you're on Instagram or a blog, your logos, your colors, your fonts, and of course your strategy should all stay the same. We talked more about brand strategy in last week's video. If you haven't checked it out, please be sure to. Alright, so visual identity is made up of several key elements, including a logo suite, a color palette, a typography kit, visuals and imagery, and brand assets. A logo is like your brand's signature. When you see that bitten apple or that swoosh, don't you instantly think of iPhones and Jordans? That's the power of a well-crafted logo. It's your brand's introduction. The logo is just a symbol that conveys who your brand is without words. And you should have a suite of logo variations to keep your symbols easy to recognize across all platforms. You should have a version of your logo that fits places big and small, tall and wide, digital and physical. A brand's color palette helps people recognize them from a distance. For example, when you see the colors blurple or magenta, you might think of Discord and Barbie. Colors have a psychological impact. They bring out certain feelings in people. For example, blurple is often associated with a futuristic and techie look, and it makes people feel curious, innovative, creative. It's a good fit for a tech company that wants to empower people to create its own communities from the ground up, like Discord. On the other hand, pink, especially magenta, represents passion, power, kindness, and appreciation. It's no surprise that Barbie, a company that aims to inspire girls to reach their full potential, they chose magenta to represent their brand. Brands use colors to stand out and attract their target audience. And when combined with other brand elements like their logos, they become really hard to forget. Another element that brands use for recognition is typography, or the arrangement of fonts to keep it legible and appealing. Ever notice Google's simple font? It's called a sans serif font, and it's associated with being straightforward, modern, and efficient, just like Google's search engine. The selection of that font was very intentional. Meanwhile, Tiffany & Co. uses a more traditional serif font, typically associated with luxury, style, maturity, and sophistication. A font that represents established brands is perfect for a brand like Tiffany & Co., a company that existed since the 1840s and aims to attract high-ticket clients. Typography isn't just about readability, it's also a tool that communicates the brand's personality. It adds to your brand's story without you even having to say anything. And the visual imagery that brands use, from sleek mock-ups to product photos to fun illustrations and icons, mascot designs, animated explainer videos, they're all intentionally made. They represent the brand's personality and the values they want to communicate. Not everyone needs a mascot and not everyone needs product photos, but every brand needs a way to represent their products, services, and personality visually and consistently. When working with a professional brand designer, all these elements of your brand, including your logo variants, your color palette, your font choice, visual imagery, and brand strategy, are all put into a cheat sheet called a brand style guide. Brand style guides reference all the elements of your brand and help you to remember your brand's purpose and what color codes you've used and how and when to use each of your logos, and so much more. After having a solid understanding of how to use all the elements of your brand assets and collateral like websites, business cards, and packaging design can be made. We'll talk about content and collateral in the next video. But don't forget that every touch point, whether it's a flyer you hand out at an event or some branded swag like pens and tote bags, should follow your brand's guidelines and use your brand's logos and fonts and colors in a recognizable way. It's not just about making your brand look good. It's about keeping your brand's visuals aligned with its story, missions, values, and personality all the time. If you're having a hard time keeping track of all the brand elements that you may want to consider for your brand, consider downloading my free brand identity checklist. It's a list of every brand asset you may possibly want to take into consideration as you develop your brand. The link's in the description. Alright, so let's wrap things up, shall we? Remember, visual identity is so much more than just a logo that looks good. It's the visual representation of your brand, helping your audience recognize and understand who you are, even when you're not around to talk about it. A strong visual identity stands out, is consistent, and it emotionally connects with your audience. It's your logo, your color palette, your typography, your imagery, and the overall design style that works together to be your full-time brand ambassador. When these elements come together, they paint an unforgettable picture of your brand. If today's video clicked with you, or if you learned anything new, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you know anyone scratching their head over brand visuals, please share this with them. They'll thank you later, and I'll thank you now. You're the best. And if you have any burning questions or thoughts that you'd like to share, please drop it in the comments below, or you can fill out the Ask Me Anything form in the description. I'll do my best to answer you as soon as possible. Before you move on to your next YouTube video, there are a couple treats waiting for you in the description. First off, please download our free brand identity checklist to keep track of all the assets you should probably consider in your brand journey. And check out a few of our recommended blog posts, especially the ultimate guide to a consistent identity. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you always know when we release new videos. Next week, we'll be talking about the brand elements, the content, and the marketing materials that help solidify your brand strategy and visual identity. So please don't miss it next Monday. Alrighty, I guess that's the end. So I'll see you in the next video, and until then, stay passionate, keep those creative juices flowing, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Alright, love you, bye!